Hey there, Sandra Edmond, Tip Tuesday, Queen of Tax Deeds here. So today I wanted to go over checklists. I was recently converting some of my old files. I used to use, I do use SugarSync among one of my backups. And I have with a Dropbox, and I also have Google Drive. So now I'm just trying to consolidate some of this stuff because now with Google Business, they allow you to host as much stuff as you want for like a very low price. So now I'm just gonna get rid of my SugarSync and probably gonna get rid of the Dropbox too. Probably just keep the Dropbox to like minimum files. But anyway, on the SugarSync, back to my point here, it has like a ton of files on there from my old laptops that I just backed up data to it as I got a new laptop, right? I mean, I would put the new data on my current laptop, but then there was some stuff that I just left on there, right? So anyway, I'm looking through some of these backup files, and a lot of it brings back memories of when I first started in real estate. And one of the important things I did early on is I started creating checklists. So at first, you start doing things and you don't really kind of know what you're doing, so you're just trying it and making sure that it works. But once you're kind of seeing what's working, it's a good idea to put together a checklist on different types of transactions that you do. So one of them that I found here was when I was getting people to sell vacant lots to me for very, very low prices, like maybe $10 or $100. So anyway, they would deed the properties over to me, and then I turn around and resell them to a third party, right? So I would buy the property, turn around, and sell it again. So some of these I was selling off of online auctions like eBay. So I've got a little checklist here with this basically like just 6 steps. Very, very simple. I'll try to take a quick picture and try to blur out some of the details because I've got other people's names in here too and their contact info. But one of them is like, it starts off with, I would like to take a moment to thank you for your purchase. I know you may have many choices in the marketplace and we appreciate your business. To ensure a smooth transaction, please follow these guidelines. So anyway, the first one is checklist for the property with a check mark. And then make the initial deposit through cashier's check or PayPal, of which I don't take PayPal anymore. You may receive a request for payment for PayPal. But you know what? I could take PayPal for like a small deposit, but not anything big. Provide a fax number or email so we can send your paperwork email to, and then I put my email. Provide the buyer's name, address, phone number, and marital status exactly as it appears. It will appear on the deed. So yeah, I was doing tabletop closings. The property is currently held in a trust. If you are familiar with the trust if you are familiar with this and would like to keep it in the trust, we can sign the beneficiary interest, and I have in parentheses ownership to you. Make cashier's check for the deposit, no personal checks to, and then I would have my company's name and address. And at the time I was just using a P.O. box. So it's the best thing to do if you don't have an office, separate location, is to send most of your stuff to your P.O. box. Mail the check through U.S. Post Office with express mail. Email us the tracking number. So what they would do is they would send an initial deposit through either PayPal or a cashier's check to me. So let's say they bought a piece of land for like $7,000, and I could have gotten this for $100. So they send me the initial deposit, which was like a small amount. It could be like $100, it could be like $500, something like that. So they send me an initial deposit right away. Okay, that way I know I don't have to try to resell this again. These people are serious that won the auction, they want to buy it. And then I would prepare the deed and then receive the cashier's check, make sure it all clears. And then once it clears the bank and everything is good, I would mail it back to them at wherever they're supposed to be. So of course, I was already familiar with and knew how to fill out deeds. If you want to learn how to fill out deeds, go talk to an attorney. They can show you how to do it, or you could have them do the first couple of ones for you. It's not going to cost that much. Or you can go online. There are websites that do forms specifically for your state. There's findlegalforms.com. Findlegalforms.com is a good one to get stuff like that. So anyway, they send me the cashier's check. I tell them how to mail it, also send me the tracking number, and then sign and return paperwork you will be receiving and fax it back to or mail it to the address above. And then the last blank that has a check mark next to it says, such and such with First American Title will be getting in touch with you. So apparently I was using a title company on some of these. So at the beginning, some of them I was not using a title company, but this one does have a title company information on there. So the title company was actually handling the closings for those for us. And then it says, if you refer our other properties to anyone, we will pay you an advertising bonus of between $250 and $500. So if they refer anybody to us, anybody, we pay them a bonus. It wasn't like person has to buy, just refer people to us, because you want to be careful, especially in Florida. You don't want to get in trouble for paying people related to real estate that aren't part of the transaction. So you got to be really careful with that. So once this transaction is complete, it goes on to say, you will be added to our inner circle. Our inner circle members receive notice of new properties before they're made public. Now that was a really important part, and I didn't realize how important that is until now, retrospect. I'm looking back now, because most of the lots and land I was selling, I would have buyers for them before I even had the property, because people would refer somebody else that they know because they got a really good deal, and those people would buy from me too. So always look for the referrals and marketing. But this is just an easy little checklist. It literally has 2, 4, 6, 7 marks on there, just 7 things to check off here. So it's actually pretty good. So that's one of my advices I give to you, is create a checklist. That way you won't get confused, or you won't have to worry or doubt yourself as to if you're doing the transaction correctly. And this way too makes it very easy to do multiple transactions at the same time. At the top of your checklist, you could always write the address of the property. So that way, this is a checklist for Amber Road, this is the checklist for Sunset, this is a checklist for Main Street, things like that. All right, so that's my tip for this Tuesday, Sondra Edmond Tip Tuesday. I will post a picture of this actual checklist. It's a very, very old checklist, but I'll post it for you as well so you can check it out, and so you won't be intimidated by doing a checklist. It's just a few lines and some check marks, okay? Coming up with your operations and procedures early on is very, very important, because you're going to build on this. So each time you do something new, create a checklist or set of instructions, and after a while, you'll have a huge book of basically your operations, and I call that operations manual. Matter of fact, let me show you one of the old versions of my operations manual. Let me pull this out here. Let's walk over here. You guys, my office is a bit of a mess, and I also want to show you this checklist here. See that? That's the checklist I was telling you about. But let's walk over to one of my old checklists, and let me show you. This is Ardness Operations Manual. See how thick that is? Because over time, I would just always write, you know, how I did something. And a lot of this too is also probably things, and you can see here I've got acquisitions, analysis, accounting, clerical, public records, staff, eBay, letters, marketing, podcasts, SEO, rehabbing, property sales, tax deed checklist, tax deed information, probate, quiet title, seminars, Google, due diligence, business plan, goals, just a whole bunch of things. And how I first started it was basically creating, maybe I had this up too high, sorry you guys, a little mind map of everything that I wanted to put. But anyway, this is what I was showing you. I don't know if you guys are able to see that, but it's basically, that's my checklist. All right, so that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Thanks again for tuning in to Tip Tuesday. Have a good one.